everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Joanita, and today I want to talk about pothos plants. So around me, just to introduce them, I have my Pothos Manjula, and also known as a happy leaf plant, very long to the ground. Now I'm sure throughout the video I'll insert full-length shots of the plants that I'm talking about. And next to me is the neon pothos, and I'll insert whatever the scientific names are. And just here to my left is the Scindapsus Pictus Exotica, and then this is just above me here is the propagation of the mother plant. So let's get straight into it. Let's talk about lighting first of all. I've seen a good amount of people especially talk about the neon pothos and having problems with keeping it alive and well and thriving. And I found this is where the neon pothos actually stays. It's on top of the mantle, and it's about, I'd say, 2 meters or so away from a southwest facing window over there to my left. And I found that the neon pothos loves a lot of light, but indirect light. Don't let the sun touch the leaves because I think they tend to burn, and if it's in too much of a bright spot, the leaves will start to bleach out, so you'll see it's a bit paler than the neon that it's normally known for. So that's a nice and easy plant, and so I'll just talk about lighting first and we'll go through watering for all of them. In terms of the Scindapsus Pictus, and I'll just hold it up for you to see here, this has just been watered. This one really can do well in a medium to bright setting. I currently keep it in a different room which is slightly, not darker, but it just receives less direct light throughout the day, and it seems to be thriving there just fine and growing well. This is actually a propagation, I'll come on to that. It's a propagation of an older plant that was a lot bigger, but we'll get onto that. So this one, medium to bright setting would be fine for it, and it grows really well. Now the Pothos Manjula is one of my trickiest ones. When I first got it, it took me about 2 weeks to figure out where in my space it works well, because unlike any of my other pothos plants that I've had, this one was tricky to figure out what kind of lighting that it wanted. I moved it in different areas of the same room, and in the beginning it was actually positioned where I am, so I guess it would be again about 2 to 3 meters away from the 2 to 3 meters away from the southwest facing window. And I found that it had small brown dots that would appear on random leaves, and to me that indicated that it was unhappy. So and I did this gradually, so I would keep it in one spot for a few days, but if I saw that the brown spots were continuously coming, I'd then move it. So in this spot, which I don't think is too much bright light, there's no direct light that actually reaches here, it was still too much light for this pothos and in my home. So then I moved it further back to somewhere where the Sabrina is, a bit lower down, and again that seemed to be not enough light for it because it still maintained these spots. So finally I moved it to behind the camera, which is about 3 to 4 meters away from the window, but that window is sort of shaded a little bit, so the light isn't so bright, but it's been thriving and it's grown, and that's what I would say is a medium light setting. Watering is quite straightforward. The neon pothos likes to be, all of them generally like to be dry. I would say the Scindapsus Pictus Exotica, just let this dry out completely until you see the leaves curling. And this one here, you see how it's curled on the inside? It's curled up like that. Get it to that point and then give it a good watering. With the neon pothos, it won't do the leaf curl. What I do is I just feel the leaf, and if it's a bit soft, you'll feel the difference from a well-watered plant to a plant that needs water. It will be a bit limp as opposed to firm, so that's what I do. I just feel it, but you can also lift up the pot, and if it's really light, give it a good watering. With the neon, I find that if I leave it too long, I'll start to get yellow leaves, so it won't go as dry as the Scindapsus Pictus but I still let a good 2 or even 3 inches of the soil dry out, and then I'll water it. It turns out to be about once a week, so once every 7 days I'll water the neon. With the Scindapsus pictus, it could go maybe 2 weeks before I water it, and it's still fine. I don't get any yellow leaves. Now with the Manjula, it's possibly because it's a bigger plant, but even from the beginning when it was a much smaller plant, I'd water it about every 10 days or so. Now I find that I can go 2 weeks plus without needing to water it, and I will feel that the pot is light, but when I feel the leaves it's a bit firm still. So with this one I feel the leaves to see whether it's a bit limp or a bit soft, then I'll water it. The soil for all of these is a well-draining soil. The Pothos plants really do appreciate a well-draining soil. Mine, I do always a mixture of perlite, just a general houseplant potting soil, and what else? And sometimes a cactus and succulent mix, which has a lot more sand and a bit more grainy. And that's it. I would probably do about 1/3 of perlite and then 2/3 of soil, and then just maybe a sprinkling of the cactus. So I take all the Pothos to the shower room and just water it and allow the water to drain through, and then bring it back out. Don't let it sit in water because then that can lead to root rot. In terms of fertilizing, I only fertilize during the spring and summer. They tend to grow throughout the year, to be honest, for me, but I fertilize mostly in spring and summer, and I do that weekly, as in with a weaker solution, and I do that every 2 weeks or so. So I just use a general all-purpose, houseplant fertilizer mixed with water, and with that water I then water the plants, and that's how I fertilize them. Generally for both the Manjula and then the Pothos, the neon Pothos. With the Exotica, I fertilize about once every 3 weeks or so. There's no real rhyme or reason for that. I somehow feel like I don't want to over-fertilize it for some reason. With the Manjula, it's the same thing. Once every 2 weeks I will add fertilizer in the water, but only a weaker solution than what is recommended. This one does go in the shower as well, and I'll insert a video of one of my watering days, because I actually do carry this thing, and it's over like 2 meters long. But that's what you do for plants. I have had the Marble Queen Pothos in the past, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I think because I'd had it for so many years, it was time for a change, I think, and the Manjula brings that variegation that I really enjoy. And with the Manjula, it has like a softer, rounder leaf, like heart-shaped leaf, which is really nice, and the variegation is it's so amazing. And you can have really like pale leaves, and some of them that are like almost half and half. It's just a nice sort of marble effect. This is just getting one of them to see. I'm not sure if that is picking up on the camera, but it just has such a nice variegation, and it's like a softer variegation than the Marble Queen. The Marble Queen has a lot of sharper variegation, I think. This is like a nice softer variegation, and the leaves it's just nice, like a painting. I love it. Very easy to propagate. You would just, let me get one of these. You just snip the leaf where the node is. The node is basically the root, where the root would grow. So I would snip this in between here, like this, and then propagate this one leaf. Now propagate, you can just put it in some water until the roots grow longer, or you can put it straight into soil. This, and it propagates super easily. This one here is the baby of the mother plant here. I've had the mother plant for many years, but I keep her cut down, and one time I just felt so guilty because she grows so well, and so I decided to propagate some of her baby leaves with the idea that when I repotted her, I would then fill in the space with the propagation. But by the time this had enough fruits, it had already filled up the next pot, so I just leave them as separate plants now and just keep them cut. It grows very quickly. I recorded my houseplant tour video a couple of weeks ago, I think, or was it the last one? Not long ago. And I actually cut, and she was all the way to the ground, and I cut her soon after, and she's already growing back, and I can't even see the cut point anymore. But I think this is one of the cut points. Not sure how well the camera will pick that up, but it's already growing a new leaf on the cut point. So, and I do various cuts. It's just such a quick grower, and I tend to keep the neon pothos more like a short sort of shrub. I think I like the look of that more so, whereas with the Manjula I just let it trail all the way, and same with the Exotica. Back to the propagation, I must say, with the Exotica, I'm quite a lazy houseplant mum. I mean, not lazy, but I don't like things to be so complex and so long-winded. So with propagation, I don't do it very often because I'm impatient. So with this one, with the Exotica, she was really huge, and I'll insert a clip or photos. She used to be positioned right here actually, and overflowing, really lush and lovely. But I found something that looked like some sort of like soil mold, or I'm sure it's harmless. I think I've heard from other YouTubers that it's probably harmless to the soil, and it wasn't actually affecting the plant, but I just didn't like to see it because it happened twice. So I just completely let the base of the plant go, and then just propagated some leaves. Now, I had actually propagated trays of this. There were about 3 trays, but I was so impatient. Over the span of 2 weeks, I started in water, let some of the roots grow, and then I changed it to a shallow tray. Whatever had enough roots, I just stuck them in this pot, and the rest I just let go again because I'm just so impatient. And that's it. They're super easy. If there's one plant I'd say, the starter plant, I'd say try the Pothos, because there's so many different varieties and they're just so easy. And a lot of people prefer to stake them so that they're growing up against the pole, but I always like them to trail, so and hang and just flow all over the place, and that's just a preference of mine. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the comments field, and I will try and answer them